Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last part we did the swamp dungeon and got a piece of heart afterwards, and now we're in Skull Woods. Skull Woods is actually an interesting case because the entire area is actually a dungeon. But the actual main dungeon part has like 4 or 5 different entrances. But I want to start at this entrance because it's how I get something very major early on. And first off here, I'm going to use bombos to kill these Gibdos in one shot. I think this is actually the first appearance in the series of Gibdos because I don't recall them being in Zelda 1 off the top of my memory. And then I want to push this statue in a certain way. But it's also in this room, you'll see it very momentarily, that a certain fan least favorite of the series starts showing up. Wall Masters. In fact, I think this is the only time in the game they show up. If they grab you, you're sent back to the start of the dungeon. Not a very unfamiliar concept to the Zelda series. It technically first showed up in Zelda 1 with the Floor Masters, but Wall Masters I know for a fact started here. So don't let them grab you. Thankfully, as far as I can recall off the top of my head, this is the only time in the game they appear. And the reason I entered this place first in the Skull Woods is actually because you get the big key very easily. So I use my Magic Mirror Warbound, and then we're going to head to another area. You might recall in the Lost Woods, the place that I cut grass open in order to get to the piece of hearts, we need to enter from here. If I were to walk south from here, I'd actually get the dungeon map, but I don't need that. If you were to enter where the exit was, the entrance for the Thieves' Hideout was otherwise, you just pretty much find yourself in a dead end. And now we need to walk along the side of the wall. I know this is intentional, but it's really stupid. And pulling this lever makes a bunch of bombs go off. Leading to the dungeon item. As soon as I kill the Moldorms. Come here. This is the Fire Rod. It's pretty much the Ice Rod, but with fire. It kills Gibdos in one shot, though. It's pretty good. It's actually a very damaging weapon overall. And we're done in this section of the dungeon. So I'm actually going to head back to the first place I entered at, because that's where the path that I need to go on is. Like I said before, from here on out, I'm pretty much doing the fastest route through the dungeons, even if my gameplay skills don't make it as fast as it should be. That's just because it might be 2 things actually for this game. It might be because I don't have as much experience with it as I probably should compared to other Zelda games, because I played this game a lot as a kid. It's one I didn't go back to for a while. And also because I'm just not confident in my skills in this one because I haven't played it as much. Either way, by going out here, we come to this part of the area. I think this is the very northwest of the Skull Woods, actually. And we come to this freaky looking thing. Now, you need the Fire Rod in order to do something with this. Hit that enemy with it, and hit this thing with it to open up a pathway into the main part of Skull Woods, or really as it is the final part. Yeah, we're almost already done with the dungeon. Skull Woods is actually tied for my favorite dungeon in the game, and it's very short because of it. In fact, we're doing both my favorite dungeons this part. That's right, we're doing 2 dungeons in one part, ladies and gentlemen. And they're both fairly short, and I like that. It's odd, because while this isn't my favorite 2D Zelda game, it actually has some of my favorite dungeon design in the fact that some of them are beatable very quickly. Because technically, I know I've said this for a fact, but my favorite 2D Zelda game is pretty much between the Oracle Gate duology and Minish Cap. This room's a thing. Now I could use the Fire Rod for this, but I just feel like using Bombos. Bombos is probably my favorite out of the 3 medallions, actually. I think it even costs the less, unless Aether does. I'm not entirely sure. Now, the gimmick with this room is you need to light up all 4 torches. You can use the lamp for the first 3, but the one at the very top you need to use the Fire Rod for, unless you're like a god at timing. And even then, I don't think it's possible. It's actually a bit of an interesting thing with this dungeon with me, actually. I mentioned, obviously I know for a fact, I just mentioned that it's my favorite dungeon in the game, pretty much. But when I was a kid, I hated this area because of the multiple entrance thing. It was the ultimate of mazes to me. But nowadays, I like how it's structured. I like non-linear stuff like that. Now, in this room, it's not entirely obvious where to go. It's another case of like the Aghanim fight. The very middle of the north wall. Slice it down. I wish they told you to do that, or at least had something where you could do that beforehand, but, Anyway, we want to get the key from that, I almost said Wallmaster, Gibdo, and come over here, and we're actually already at the boss. Come down here. No! barrage. Either way, one backtrack later, now we're at the boss. A very familiar one to those who've seen my Oracle of Seasons LP, Mothula, or Mothura, whichever one you like. Now, Mothra is one of the hardest bosses in the game, purely for the fact that he's huge, the floor's moving, and the spikes around the field that move hurt. But there's actually a pretty good strategy to this guy. I think it's 16 sword strikes, 8 fire rods, or 4 hammers to the face, and it goes down. And spin attack to get that quicker. And that's the Skull Woods. I actually really like this place. There's a lot more to explore with it, obviously, but I don't need to do that because I know it well enough. And with that, we're 3 out of the 4 maidens down already. Dark World's pretty short, huh? Don't worry, it gets slower. Link, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil monsters. Thank you. I'm sensing a trend here. Do you know the prophecy of the Great Cataclysm? This is the way I heard it. If a person who has an evil heart gets the Triforce, a hero is destined to appear. And he alone must face the person who began the Great Cataclysm. If the evil one destroys the hero, nothing can save the world from his wicked reign. Only a person of the Knights of Hyrule, protecting the royalty of Hylia, can become the hero. You are of their bloodline, aren't you? Then you must rescue Zelda without fail. Do you understand? I'm starting to see a theme here. Yes, I understand. May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce. And with that, we're actually going to go immediately to the next dungeon, but to do that, I'm actually going to cut back to Thieves Town, because it's in here. If you check the map, it's in the very middle where the Weather Vane was. And the way I access it is simple. Pull on this, and you get a rolling animation that I think only plays there. And welcome to, I forget what this place is called. It's either called the Thieves Hideout, or Blind's Hideout. I also see it called Gargoyle's Domain every now and then. And this is another really cool way to think of a dungeon. First off, we got, as you can see, I'm a bunny again. There's a reason for that. Around this dungeon, they start throwing things at you called rabbit beams, is what I've always called them. They're pretty much little golden circles that look to be made up of 4 stars. If they hit you, there's one right there actually, you get turned back into a bunny temporarily, so you're pretty much vulnerable to anything. And we got the big key. Now the dungeon gets interesting, because the boss, if you check the map and you go to his domain, even after getting the item, which I think you have to wait to get the item until a bit later, is not there. So we need to explore a bit first. In fact, I think the boss is technically just north of us. Yeah, that's where it is. But we can't do anything there, as I mentioned, so we need to head to the southwest of this room. A lot of these rooms are obviously very dangerous because spikes hurt, and these guys are annoying. In fact, I think they also only show up here and in the final dungeon. But I guess I'll see that throughout the rest of today and tomorrow, because I'm recording the rest of this game tonight and tomorrow. We also get a good amount of conveyor belts in this dungeon, which are just kind of there. Are conveyor belts ever a good gimmick? I can't recall one off the top of my head. By the way, you need to hit that switch in order to make things happen, and wow, that was some pop-in. I never actually noticed that. There's a very slight moment where you can just see the door pop out of existence for these type of doors. Wow, that's kind of bad. Do not pull this lever, by the way, but I'm going to do it anyway. It makes the Dark World equivalent to ropes drop down. Also, we cannot bomb that, even though I tried to. That's just because, yet again, as I've said before, not entirely got this game memorized yet. That was grammar. Now, in this room, they give us bombs, so it's pretty obvious we have to blow that one panel up. And you need to do that because you can't fight the boss without it. Honestly, though, when I do this, I'm immediately reminded of getting the mermaid suit in Oracle of Ages. Ugh, I hate that bomb throw. Wait, was it the mermaid suit or was it the switch hook? One of the two. By the way, did I mention I love this song before? Because it is a really nice track. Really blends in, you're in a threatening place. Then again, as I mentioned before, this game's soundtrack is great, and I am low on health. Nope, nope, don't want any. Nope, 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 nope. This is actually a fairly small dungeon, too, in terms of just overall size, because I think there's only 3 floors. And they're fairly small 3 floors. Now, this is something I think I've done before, but I don't like. The big blocks like this, you can pick up, but it's not immediately obvious you can do that. Because they look like something you either won't be able to pick up at all, or you just can't yet. Anyway, in this place, we got doors that look pretty familiar. We can enter these even without a key. And we need to do this because there's a certain something waiting for us at the end of this, and great, death. I'm expecting a death counter by the end of the series, by the way, because it happens a lot. I'm trying to think, was there ever a game where fairies restored all your health? I can't quite recall. Ah, bunny. Oh, thank you very much. You saved my life. Please take me outside. Okay. This is weird. This is the rest of the gimmick of the dungeon. You're escorting her out, essentially, but you're not quite going out. The gimmick that this would have in A Link Between Worlds is actually one of my favorite gimmicks in the series. Because that was a really fun dungeon. In fact, A Link Between Worlds, if you have a 3DS and you haven't picked that up yet, go get it. It's one of the best 3DS games on the market. And here we get the dungeon item, the Titan's Whip. We can now lift the heaviest stones that were once impossible to budge. So now we are... Is it technically good to say it's better than the Power Glove? After all, it's so bad. Ow. I don't know what I was trying to accomplish there. See, now I would expect to be able to lift these things up, but no, you can do it with the Power Glove for some reason. Either way, this place looks familiar. We're right near the entrance. Let's head up here, see if we can finally do something in here. Huh, sunlight. This must be where we bombed the thing. What? Gah! Too bright! That girl was secretly blind, the dungeon's boss, which if you actually recall back in Kakariko Village, one guy actually told us about that this was a thieves' hideout for a guy named Blind. This is him, and we decapitated him. His basic gimmick is he moves all around, he'll lose his head, and they'll start shooting lasers out even after you destroy them. And Blind himself can shoot out straight lasers like that. Honestly, though, Blind is a very easy boss. I think he only takes about 18 sword slashes, and beyond that, he's pretty easy. Let me see if I can get an exact number on that. Yeah, I don't see anything. A good strategy, though, is to use the magic cape or the cane of Burna, so you can just avoid damage in general, though. And with that, we are 4 out of 7 dungeons done here in the Dark World. Yeah, that didn't take too long, did it? Alright, what you got to say? Link, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil I guess they all say that, don't they? Huh. As the wise men sealed the way of the to the Dark World, the Knights of Hyrule defended them from the attacks of evil monsters. I heard that the Knights of Hyrule were nearly wiped out in that battle. You are perhaps the last one to carry on the bloodline of the Knights. It is ironic that the last one in the line has the potential to become the hero of legend. That's not really ironic, it's more coincidental, if anything. Yeah, I understand. May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce. Yeah, you've all said that so far. Either way, with that and us completing 2 dungeons in 1 video, I really like when that happens, by the way. I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 11, we'll be, I think, heading towards and doing the next dungeon. See you guys then!